I hear voices. Now, before you think I've slipped, hit my head, and woke up inside an M. Night Shyamalan movie, hear me out. When I'm feeling overwhelmed, I hear the voice of my maternal grandfather saying, "You're going to get through it just like we did during the Depression." When I'm feeling alone, I hear my maternal grandmother saying, welcoming me, "There's always room for you at our house." When I feel attacked, I hear my paternal grandfather saying, "Remember where you came from. Remember you're a Randall. And Randalls, well, we don't give up." When I feel frustrated and angry because the systems in this world are just too much, I hear my Indigenous paternal grandmother say, "You're a descendant of warriors, hunters, artisans, and leaders. You're part of the Deer Clan. Your ancestors survived genocide, the Trail of Tears, boarding schools, and so much more. Always remember," she said, "they are with you." Yeah, I hear voices. While many may raise an eyebrow or two at the notion of ancestral voices echoing in my head and in my heart, I am in good company as I encourage you to read and apply the scriptures today through an indigenous lens. Abram's father Terah had to be ringing in his ear as he continued his journey to Canaan. Both Ishmael and Isaac recognized Abraham, Hagar, and Sarah's voices as the brothers came back together to bury their father. As Esau and Jacob quarreled, surely they heard the wisdom of their father Isaac. When Joseph found himself enslaved in Egypt, the voice of his father Jacob offered comfort and peace. When Moses was called to lead his people, it was his mother's voice, the voice who showed such bravery when the Pharaoh tried to kill her son. Joseph listened to Moses, Ruth listened to Naomi, Samuel listened to Eli. The prophets heard the cries of their ancestors in captivity and their longing for freedom. And Jesus, well, Jesus heard all their voices. He carried them with him through all the towns and villages where he practiced justice and promised hope. Even at the Transfiguration, the disciples bear witness to past voices, those of Moses and Elijah. Yes, indeed, the voices of our past, both in the Bible and in our life, well, they're essential to moving life forward. And this brings us to the gospel lesson for this third Sunday of Easter. After Easter morning and following Jesus' appearance to Mary Magdalene in the open garden and to the disciples who were behind locked doors, a quietness had fallen upon the disciples. They're trying to figure out what was next. They had experienced all the drama of Holy Week, the triumphant entry, the turning over the tables in the temple, the Passover meal, the arrest in the garden, the scam trials, the crowd choosing Barabbas and empire, the crucifixion, the burial. They had seen it all, they thought, until they saw the risen Christ on Sunday morning, until they heard his voice. But what did it all mean? After everything that had transpired, after they had placed their faith in Jesus, after they had risked their lives for him, they decided to return to the comfort of their fishing boats. Just as all of this began that morning, it was Jesus who appeared on the shore, offering the fishermen yet another fishing lesson. After his advice produced another bumper catch, he and the disciples settled down for a meal prepared for by the risen Lord himself. And this is where the voice of Jesus echoes past the tomb and into resurrection. 3 times Jesus asked Simon Peter, "Do you love me?" 3 times Peter affirms his love for his rabbi. And 3 times Jesus offers these words, "Feed my lambs, tend my sheep, feed my sheep." And there you have it. Just as the Hebrew ancestor spoke to Jesus, his voice echoed to the disciples. Whatever you're about to face for my sake, I've gone through it as well. Whatever pain and heartache awaits you, cling to one another for your community, those here now and those who've gone before you. They're always with you. And after I leave, the real work will begin. Peter must have recalled this moment on the shore when the day of Pentecost arrived, and the man who was once hiding in the shadows on Friday night burst forth onto the scene to feed the lambs, tend the sheep, and feed the sheep. No longer was he the timid fisherman, fearful of death. He had heard the voice of his rabbi and spoke boldly before the crowds. When I think of these moments in the Gospels and the book of Acts, I'm reminded of the inspiration drawn from the revelation of John. In that apocalyptic imagination, John draws on his ancestral voices. Listen to his story. I looked, and I heard the voice of many angels surrounding the throne, and the living creatures and the elders. They numbered myriads and thousands of thousands, singing with full voice, "Worthy is the Lamb that was slaughtered, to receive power and wealth and wisdom and might and honor and glory and blessing." Then I heard every creature in heaven, and on earth, and under the earth, and in the sea, and all that there's with them, singing, "To the one seated on the throne, and to the Lamb be blessing and honor and glory and might forever and ever." And the four living creatures said, "Amen." And the elders fell down and worshipped. Even during the apocalypse, our ancestors speak to us. Chief Seattle, the leader of the Duwamish and Suquamish people, once said, "Our religion is the traditions of our ancestors, the dreams of our old men, giving them in solemn hours of the night by the Great Spirit. And the vision of our elders, it is written in the hearts of our people." The ancient ways of the indigenous peoples and the Bible are more similar than we can ever imagine. We all carry the wisdom, joy, and pain of our ancestors within us. Their presence is eternal, never leaving us, never forsaking us. Whether it is Jesus, whether it is Chief Seattle, whether it is a grandmother or grandfather, our ancestors remain with us, rising from the dead to offer comfort and inspiration to the living. Feed my lambs, tend my sheep, feed my sheep. In other words, take care of each other. Or, as our ultimate spiritual ancestor Jesus once said, love God and love each other. In one of my favorite television shows of all time, Sterling Harjo's Reservation Dogs details a fictional story of four Muscogee Creek youth growing up in eastern rural Oklahoma. And why is it so familiar to me? The Muscogee people are my people. In season 2, during the episode titled Offerings, one of the youth, Willie Jack, visits her aunt in prison, played by Oscar-nominated Lily Gladstone. Willie Jack is feeling alone as the teens navigate the death of a friend. Hope-Dee, played by Gladstone, offers her niece a life lesson that we should all remember. Sitting inside a prison, visiting, Aunt Hope-Dee leads a prayer, reminding her niece that she is never alone. Bowing their heads, Hope-Dee calls on the Great Spirit to show Willie Jack everyone that is beside her. "They're watching you, my girl," Hope-Dee says. "This is the power we carry. And when you really pray, they are all around you all the time." Just then, a cloud of witnesses stands behind Willie Jack, and one of the young women reaches out and places her hand on the teen's shoulder. And Willie Jack responds, "Oh, indeed." The power of resurrection is not in the magic trick of overcoming death. The real power of resurrection comes from knowing the struggles Jesus went through, showing us a path through death's dark valleys. The real power of resurrection is knowing that our ancestor, Jesus, is with us today, encouraging us, carrying us, and holding us when we have need. Salvation comes through the resurrection of our ancestors, both in this world and the world not seen. Feed my lambs, tend my sheep, feed my sheep. community, both in the real and spiritual worlds, means taking care of one another. And to that, I hope we can all say, Amen, Amen, Amen.